Hello again. In this video, I want to describe the global financial data. And the reason I want to describe these data is because we were not able to include the global financial data or subsets of the global financial data directly into NewGene as preloaded software. However, as I'll explain, if users have access to the global financial data through their own, say, library resources, then they can take these data and incorporate them into NewGene. So typically how a user would have access to the global financial data is through their library system. So as you can see, this is the Rutgers University Library homepage, and if one were to do a search through the regular library search, they would do a search for global financial data. And this is typically how you would find it. And it will come up with a page like this or some variety thereof for your own respective library. But if you do a search, typically in your library catalog for global financial data, or if you go and look underneath database search or listing for browsing through databases that are offered by your library, you'll somehow find the global financial data. And then it will usually have an option to allow you to click to connect to it. And when you do that, it'll actually take you to the global financial data homepage itself. Here, if you log into it through your library server, then you won't need to enter a username or a password. You can typically just log in anonymously. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to click on the login anonymously. And now you can see that it's opened up the global financial data page. And this is an outstanding resource in terms of being able to access information about bond rates, financial markets, stock data, a whole host of data. And typically what one would want to do is go to the GF database itself. It would click on that. It'll come up here. And how I've made use of the GFD in the past is to use it to capture data on long-term bond rates on sovereign debt. But as you can see, there's a variety of options here. So you have listings of various countries. You could do country-specific. You could do groups of countries. Let's say we want to have all countries. And then we have a variety of different indicators here: fixed income, government and debt, international trade, national accounts. And what you can see is in this case I selected fixed income, and when I did that, it brought up government bond yields as one of the options. So I can click on that, and once I do that, I'll then be able to search for government bond yield data. So having selected these options, all countries, fixed income, government bond yields, I can click search. And as you can see, it is now updated or populated the right-hand side here with a variety of data regarding long-term government debt. So you can see this has USA 10-year constant maturity bond, constant maturity yield. And as you can see, this goes from the year 1786 all the way to 2015. For France, 10-year government bond yield, 1746 to 2015. So this is a great resource if one wanted to have historical bond yield data. And so how would one make use of this? Well, let's say we wanted the French data. So what we would do is click on that option. Click on the France 10-year government bond yield data. You can see as we're waiting, it actually brought up a window that reported the sources from where that data was acquired. You can see this provides some information. This plots the data over the past few quarters. What we want to do is say we want to download the data. And so all we have to do is click here. You can see 1746, 2015. Maybe those aren't all the years we want, but let's say that this is how we're going to work with the data. And then, of course, here it gives us options for a CSV file or Excel 2007. And then at this point, we would just click download. It'll then ask you if you wish to open it or save it. Now, at this point, what's useful is I've already gone through and done this for a variety of countries. So I'm actually going to close this and pull over this folder here. And what you can see is in this folder, I've downloaded these data for a variety of countries and did it all in an Excel format, Excel spreadsheet format. But then what I did was I went through and converted it all into CSV files for each of these countries. And so this could be just as an example of what one would want to do. Now, you may want to incorporate into Nugene just one particular country's bond yield data, or maybe a variety of different data for a particular country. In my case, what I wanted to do was I wanted to incorporate all of the bond yield data for these various countries into Nugene. And so what I did was create a single spreadsheet. You can see here I call it GFD Historical Government Yield. You can see it's a CSV file, which means it's going to be easy for me to incorporate it and import it into Nugene. You see that I assigned the country code for each country. I also have the month, the day, and the actual year for the observation, and then the actual reported yield on the government bonds. And just to add some detail to this, country code 160 corresponds to Argentina. So this is Argentina on July 31st, 1824. Their yield was 6.967. And so having created this Excel sheet for all these variety of countries, I can then go to Nugene and import these data using the procedures that are found in several of the other videos that have dealt with either importing data in general or the Grow Up video that showed how I incorporated those data. So overall, the point of this video was just to introduce users to the Global Financial Database, to show how users could possibly use those data, download those data, and incorporate them into Nugene, because those data are not currently available in Nugene as preloaded data. Thank you.